Okay, so I started to just do this, and then I thought, well, shoot, I showed y'all this block, and I'm fixing to use it, so here, let's video it. So I got this battery in, and I got it cheap. I'll have to still check it to make sure everything's good, but it was, this is a 6S battery, 6200 milliamp hours. It's 120 discharge rate. 137.64 watt hours. Now, I don't know, this is a used battery. It doesn't show any signs of bulging or anything. It's supposed to be a good battery. I was told it was a brand new battery, and it appears to be. I mean, it's probably set in a drawer or whatever, or in storage or stock or something. I don't know. But it's got this big old honking, what is this thing? It is a EC5 connector. Usually this is like on electric bikes or something like that. But I've got to change it out, or I'm going to change it out to an XT60. Now, this plug is probably underrated for the potential discharge on this, but this does me no good. And what I'm using it for is not going to pull that much. So a quick little deal of what we're doing here. So let me find, which one is it? I think it's maybe, yeah, there it is, 60. Let's loosen this up. So again, like I said, when I opened this originally, this is shaped like each one of the individual tips that you're going to use it to solder. So I've got the, I don't know, would you call this the male because it fits in the other one? Or would it be the female because the other's got prongs that fit inside this? I don't know. I don't really know the terminology, but hey, this is what I got. And so if you'll notice, it fits pretty snugly inside there. Now, the reason being is, let's just cinch this down. It doesn't have to be tight. We're not trying to do anything special with it. We're just trying to hold it in place. But we want this large aluminum sink to be in contact with this part. And I don't know, potentially, let's see if it, I don't think the upper section will fit because that's almost perfect fit. But if I come in here on this part of the T60 or XT60 and tighten it down, then this seems to like it would do better, maybe. Or maybe not, I don't know, but I would figure this top side would be the first part that would start to melt. And so this is like a heat sink to wick the heat away from the plastic so that you don't melt the plastic when you are soldering these tips. And this is my charge line or charge adapter for my B6 AC charger. So I'm going to take this tip off and I'm going to solder it onto this section here. And what I'm going to wind up doing is probably pre-tinning these two terminals. And as you can see here, the way this is going to fit into this part right here, the red terminal goes on the back flat square section, and the black terminal is on the, it's not rounded, but semi-octagonal shape on the top. So black on top, red on bottom right here. That's how it's going to go. Now, if you want to have a bad day, then do this. Clip these wires. Do not do that. If you do, this is going to ignite. Potentially, you're definitely going to get a huge spark, probably blow your cutters in half, because this battery is going to go to a dead short and discharge, dumping all of its load 120. I think that's 120. No, it's not 120 amps. I want to think 50C is like 7 amps. So 14, around 20 plus 20 to 30 amps is what this is going to dump straight into these cutters if you just cut straight across here. So don't do that. Now, I don't know if there is a particular process or whatever you may or may not want to do, but I'm going to save this connector, I hope. So I'm going to clip it back here so that I have just a little bit of a pigtail sticking out, because I don't need a whole lot. I think I may have said while in the drone build, these are silicone wires, and they are heat resistant to beyond probably whatever the soldering iron can produce. And so they're not going to melt. And so you don't have to trim but just a smidge off the end of the wire and tin it to solder it into where you're going, how you're soldering it. Because this isn't going to go to melting back or nothing like that, because it's resistant to the heat. And so you need a small pigtail is basically what I'm trying to say. And so I've got some heat shrink tubing. Now the red is pretty much about what I need as far as size. The black is a little larger, but I'm not really worried about it because this is the ground or negative side that'll be on this terminal. And I just want the tubing up in there. I don't care that, I mean, if it's loose and I can't get it to shrink all the way down or stay in place, then I'll do something. I don't know. Maybe put tape around it to hold it in place. However. But I do want the positive to be pretty snug to stay in place whenever I take and solder it onto there. So let's see the process on how I'm going to do it. This is very dangerous. Like I said, you punch a hole down into this battery, and I want to say crosses phases. It don't, but potentially kind of. It's shorting. You're shorting the battery across the panels. And so it starts to react, the heat burns, and it just burns into the next panel, or the next layer and layer and layer and layer, until it eventually just burns out. And all the chemical in this battery supplies everything it needs to continue burning. And so this right here doesn't have to have like normally with a fire you have to have the fuel, which would be, say, debris, and oxygen, and then you have to have the heat source that ignites it, and then the heat source feeds off of the oxygen and the fuel to continue burning. You take the oxygen away, it stops. You take the fuel away, it stops. You take the heat source away, and it stops burning. Well, this has everything self-contained and continues to burn. So you have all of what you need in the chemical makeup of this to continue burning. So even burying it, it should still continue to burn. So the safest way that I can think of to do this is I'm going to do one lead at a time. So I'm going to come through here. I'm going to cut the positive lead. I'm going to go ahead and tin it real quick. I'm going to go ahead and get these tinned first so this can start to cool all back down again. And then I'll clip this, get my heat shrink on there, and then get this soldered in and try to heat it back up to get it to heat shrink down to where I want it. And then I'll clip the negative side and then solder the negative side in the same process. So one lead at a time. There shouldn't be any potential issues with the battery shorting in any way. So let's go ahead and get this plugged in. And we'll go ahead and let it heat up. .360. That's where I was heating the stuff for the drone on the panel. And so I think that's a pretty decent temp. Yeah, there we go. We've got some goober on there now. So let's get the soldering iron unfinangled. Okay, so I got it dropped down in there. Okay, so that side seems to be good. Let it start cooling. Doesn't seem like the tip warped at all. Yeah, it seems to be pretty good. So let's go ahead and get this tinned. And I think I got a good bounce in there. Okay, so that seems to be good old goober and glob on there on the negative side. So let's go ahead and set this off to the side, and that still feels pretty solid there. I mean, I don't think there's any issues with it, anything overheating. So let's set that off the side and let that cool. And so we're going to take our first clip on battery lead and don't wiggle around. Of course, those wires are silicone too, so it don't hurt nothing. So and precautions. So a big steel container or cast iron container with possibly set on a cinder block or something is a good precaution. And if this battery starts to ignite, that you have welding gloves and grippers and everything to grab and take and toss it into that and put the lid on it. Not that it's going to smother anything out, but that it will contain it in that container, that metal container, and it's not going to get hot enough to burn through that cast iron. And so you have less of a chance of things catching on fire. So that's a good safety to do. So make sure that, and we flipped that. All right. Okay, we got the schmidgem on there. Before we get into this, let me go ahead and slide this on there. Because I don't know about you, but I tend to forget my heat shrink and then end up having to use electrical tape. So here we go. Okay. So the heat is backing up that cable to an extent. Let me push that down further. And again, let's double check, as the positive is back here. So we're going to put just a drop more of the kester. I shouldn't have to do any more soldering whatever's. Oh. That's not good enough. What I may need to do, let's get the Gerber dime. Let's drop a dime on it. My head may be in your way, and I apologize if it is. Oh yeah, that's good and solid. Okay, so now one of the most important things is waiting for this to cool before you slide your heat shrink down, or you may not slide your heat shrink down. So that is what it is. Okay, so it feels pretty cool. So let's slide our heat shrink down. Uh-oh. The silicone's kind of sticky to it. I mean, it's not really sticky, but it's just, you know how silicone wire is kind of grabby and soft? Well, that's what she is. She's grabby and soft. So okay. So I mean, it's not exactly perfect, but it's good and solid. You want to make sure that your connection is soldered good, because you don't want your connection coming loose, especially your positive side. And so I probably should have slid just a larger piece of heat shrink tubing to tie these together, because once you've got them on here properly, the plug can only fit to the other plug correctly. So you don't have to pay attention to the red and the black in that particular case. And now that you have already done the red side, the black side, you basically just follow suit the exact same way. So let's get some kester on there. Let that soak down in the wire. And again, let's get our heat shrink tubing, push down as far as we can, right off the bat. And then let's get some more. I need to clean my tip bad. I had heat all the way back up to here. So now that doesn't look beautiful, but I'm telling you, that is a solid connection. And that tip is in perfect shape. It's not warped, contorted, cavorted, or forted. If I had my hot air gun out, I could just do this in a second and it'd look beautiful. But I don't, because I'm a goober. Just ask my new hater. He'll tell you I'm a goober. He'll tell you all kind of stuff. Yeah, I might do a video because I am officially a professional YouTuber. I am a professional content creator. I am a made man. I'm a made content creator. Why? Because I got my first hater. he's another YouTuber too. But okay, I'm not laughing at him by no means, but I'm just saying. Anyway, if he watches this video, you'll definitely hear from him. He'll comment. Thumbs up, no thumbs down. I'm sorry. So, all right. Anyway, so that is finangled. So I have to clean that plug up some, but it's good. So you can see there, it's in really good shape. Let me see if I've got. Is there any big? No, that's the biggest stuff. I have some bigger heat shrink but well, I'll get it out at some point or another. But what I need to do is hook this up to my charger now and test it. So, oh, there's a missing thingy, I think, that went with that gimbal build. And by the way, if you watch the gimbal build, this right here, I found the screw I dropped. It was stuck to one of the magnets in front of the little filing cabinet, just in front of me here. So, there. You have it. I probably should have just reused this one right here, to be honest with you. Oh well, that's fine. No buggy. Okay, so now we're to the moment of truth. So let's get the B6 charger out. We'll come over here. We'll plug it up. We are going to plug that in. Everything matches up. Now, let's just do a check. And we are going to, let's see, LiPo, battery, memory, battery resistance. Okay, so, oh, that's not good. It says no battery found. That's not good. And it's plugged in there. So, let's do this. Battery meter. But, oh, wait a minute. I may have to have this plugged in. Okay. Whew. Boy, scared me. So 5, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. So this is, I think this cell is really good. And then the battery meter. So it's close to storage voltage. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do this. LiPo battery. And this right here is a 6200 milliamp hours, so I should be able to charge it at 6.2 amps and set or charge up to the storage voltage at that. But I don't. I'm just going to set it at 1 amp. So let's go ahead and bring it to 1 amp. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to do balance charge. I want to do... Wait, nope. There. Okay, so I don't want balance charge. I don't want charge. I don't want fast charge at all. Storage charge, that's what I want. So 1 amp. And it is a 6 cell. It already knows it's a 6 cell. You look right here, 6S. That means there are 6 individual cells in here, and each cell should be about 4.2-ish volts. And so times 6, that should be 22.8 actually, I think. But 22.2 is the voltage rating here. So we hit enter and it's there. So we've programmed it to charge this battery, but I've got it on storage charge. So it should bring it up to each cell up to 3.85. And so you hold down the enter. Comes in, it's saying, hey, look, you set it to a 6S. I found a 6S. Are you sure? So and it only gives you a little bit and it goes back. So yes, I'm sure. So here we go. It's starting the charge. So hit the right arrow, and this is where each of the cells are. And so you can monitor how your cells are coming up. The total percentage, it's got 30% charge in here, and the cells are at 3.7, I guess, on average. So you come back to end voltage backwards, and it's showing you that when it's done, bringing this to storage charge, it should be 22.92 volts. And so over here, you'll notice it's at, where is it at? Let's go back in here. It's at 22.72, so 22.92, so 0.89, so it's got 0.2 volts. It's got to bring the entire battery level up by bringing the individual cells. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to do a review on these chargers. In power voltage. These are some settings that you can go through and set. You can also go through the main menu and do these. But I really want to hold off doing a review on these until I know more about them. And I've used them for a little bit. And that's what I'm doing here. So this is going to be in one of the drone projects, because there may be a potential drone in the family somewhere that uses a 6S battery. And the drone build we're doing, those are 3-cell, so they're 3S batteries. And so I have a adapter coming from AliExpress that you strap on the battery and plug into here. And so if you look here, let's see, it's going an external temperature and an internal temperature. So the internal temperature of this device is 78 Fahrenheit. External it doesn't have, because there's no external temperature device. So I can plug one in here, wrap it on the battery, and it'll keep track of the temperature of the battery. And I can also set this to shut down if the battery gets too hot. And so I ordered one of those because I wanted it to be in place to keep a check on the battery. And I'm going to use that because these are pretty heavy duty batteries. When you get to the 6S, they're pretty heavy. Not only that, but I mean, they pack a lot of wop. And this right here, being a 6200 milliamp hour battery, it packs a lot. So anyway, so there you have it. I appreciate you being here. I enjoy spending time with you, and I will see you next time. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.